Hi, again, I'm Dr. Nilam Khurana, and we're continuing our series on early childhood development and milestones that your child should be reaching. And we're getting into a really fun interactive phase. And the more and more time goes, the more and more every single area of development broadens, and they just learn so much and absorb so much. They are fueling their brain right now. Actually, 70% of your brain is fat. So they're taking in all these calories, and soon you're going to be seeing them eating like piglets, and you're going to wonder where in the world it's going. It's going to their brain. So, but now I wanted to kind of continue on the last one when we talked about 6 to 9 months in reminding you that there's a huge range in the big body movements. So your baby may not even be crawling yet. Your baby may not be walking along furniture, but they're usually standing well with support. So usually they're pulling themselves up to a standing position against like a crib rail or a coffee table. Remember, with the crib rails, they have to be on the lowest setting, otherwise they're going to soon climb it out of there and fall hard. Ouch. Not good. So, but they'll start pulling themselves up at least to that standing position. Definitely, if you put them up against something and they have the ability to hold on to something, they should stand holding on to something. If they're not doing that, that's something that you should go talk to your doctor about. And then, but typically they're able to pull themselves up to a stand. And between now and 12 months, typically they're starting to walk along furniture. So they'll kind of sidestep. And then they'll let go and stand alone. And then when they want to, so they technically don't have to walk well till about 15 months. Usually everybody thinks they have to take their first steps at 12 months. And of course, if they don't, they worry. But it just depends on the child's personality. They have personalities from the moment they're born. And so if your little baby is very cautious and wanting to make sure that everything is okay before they take that first step, you'll know that already about their personality. They will wait until they know that they're going to be able to go and not fall. And then if your baby is like crazy all over the place, doesn't really care, they'll let go, they'll walk a few steps, and then they'll just drop. They'll just start getting to a seated position and crawl. They can sit down fine now. They can get from a standing to a seated position without falling. And they should also be starting to be able to sit like in the middle of the floor and get themselves up to a standing position. So without necessarily needing any support to do that. So all that stuff is happening in this age range. And they're really getting great trunk control. So again, if they're not doing those things, then, we want to let your doctor know. They'll start, if they're cautious, they'll be able to walk holding like just one finger. But then as soon as you let go, they'll sit down. That's fine, because they're just being a little bit extra cautious. And then once they get to their comfort zone, they'll start taking those steps. And you can't push it. My first one, my brother-in-law and my husband were like, we're going to make her walk on her birthday. So they had her standing against one of those little table toys, and she was playing with them, and they were slowly like pulling it away from her. So she would take her steps and go. She's a cautious girl. She was not going to go without being coaxed into it. So they got her to take her steps, right? They got her to she let go of it. She walked over to it because she wanted to keep playing. And then she didn't walk on her own again until 2 weeks later, because she wasn't ready then. She just wanted to do it in her own time. So don't worry. If they're doing those things where they can, and they can hold your finger and they can go, give them a little bit, and they'll let you know what they can do. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that they could be doing. Like some kids are already walking and running and climbing, but majority of the time they're just learning to take their first steps by around a year-ish. And that's the only real goal we need. They don't need to be running and climbing and all that other stuff yet. Usually that's 15 to 18 months. And then we talked about the using of their two fingers to eat. So they really can do that well now. Between 9 and 12 months, they should really be doing a lot of more eating on their own. Drinking, holding a cup, drinking it. The sippy cups are preferably, you have to get them off of the soft top sippy cups now. So a hard top sippy cup, one of those 360 cups, or a straw is fine. Usually around 9 or 10 months, they'll start with those straws, which is great because then you don't have to worry about transitioning to something else afterwards. And they're able to start holding on to things. So like when you're feeding them food with the spoon, they'll hold on to the spoon, and they may try to do something, but they're not really going to be that successful with like liquidy things or even like porridge type or mashed potato kind of things yet. They'll get some stuff on them, and maybe some of it will reach in their mouth. So they'll be starting doing a lot of those sort of trying to be more independent, trying to feed themselves. Definitely can successfully feed themselves finger foods. It may take a while and you may not have patience, but I would say try to do like one time in the day where you're letting them make a mess so that they learn, because that's the only way they're going to learn. They can't learn unless they try. That's life. We learn from experiences, not from just waiting and watching. So, and then communication is huge now. So some kids even start saying things as early as 6 months, although it's extremely rare. But we'll start saying sounds that mean something around this age. So they don't have to say their first true word until 12 months. And a word means a sound that means something. So if it's mama, but it's mama, 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 and it's mama, mama, mama for anything, that doesn't mean it's mama. And yes, they oftentimes will say dada first, which is just cruel punishment for all the struggles that we went through. But it is easier for them because they can they're used to sticking their tongue down over their lower lip, and dada just is more of a movement of that tongue. Yes, I'm making excuses because my daughter said dada first. She said hot tea at a year, but she didn't say mama until much later. But I'm not complaining about that at all. So anyways, off my rant, they definitely will start saying sounds that mean something, but it could even be like ba means bottle and ball, and it's fine as long as you know that they're calling it that, and eventually the rest of the word will come out. So but typically it's mama, dada, no, hi, uh-oh, or things like that they're going to start saying, more common things that they're going to hear you say. And then they really know how to work you now. So this is the age where you have to like cut off the bottle. If they're relying on the bottle to sleep, and you let them go any longer than this, it's going to take a lot of time and frustration and tears and torture. Because usually, like I like to get them off the bottle, honestly, by like 10 or 11 months. But the formula is gross. And so if they're on formula at this point and they have to drink it out of a sippy cup, they may just not want it. But at a year, they can change to the whole milk. They can change to milk in a cup. They can change to really 2 or 3 servings of dairy in the day. So as long as they're getting that dairy in some other form and getting enough fluids with the sippy cups and straw cups and all of that other stuff, you can get rid of the bottle. But you have to get rid of the bottle, because if you don't, at 12 months, it can be about 3 nights of them fussing if you actually let them fall asleep on the bottle. Like at 15 months, I find that it's 5 nights. At 18 months, it can be a week. And this is like, the older they are, the more they know that they can torture you, and they will cry for as long as they need to. And it's like I said previously, they will cry until you give them what they want. And so, but now they're able to fool you, because they'll cry until you give them the bottle, and then you think, oh, they're hungry. Their livers are mature enough by 2 months, really, that they can go a long stretch without needing anything. Just like us, our livers actually release the sugar slowly in our bloodstream so that we don't need to eat in the middle of the night. So same thing for them. They don't need to eat in the middle of the night, and they don't need to eat before they go to sleep. We don't eat before we go to sleep because it's not good for us. We'd end up having reflux and all these issues. So it's the same thing. They don't need to eat before they go to sleep. They can sleep a good solid night's sleep without having anything, even for a couple of hours before they go to bed. So keep that in mind with them, because again, it's now coming into the they're really getting smarter than the parents usually. And the parents then struggle because they don't realize how smart their little kiddos are. And everybody does. Trust me, I have done it too. And I have to like step back and remind myself. So this is your little crutch to help you step back and remind yourself. But that's the big stuff that I wanted to talk to you about for the 9 to 12 months. And then more to come. Thanks for listening.